Hello, it's Rachel. Today I'm discussing Kung Fu Season 3, Episode 10. This was an Althea heavy episode, and Ashley is my favorite character. I had fun with this episode for the most part, so let's get into the discussion. So, we start the episode with Nikki still in jail, and she's meditating, which allows her to have a vision of Pei-Ling. And as Pei-Ling is her mentor, of course, this is Nikki's way of getting some guidance and clarity on what she should do going forward. But it's just so funny that Nikki's takeaway in this meditation was that she had to forgive herself, and that would be what would allow her to succeed in stopping Zhao. Like, yeah, she almost bludgeoned Bo to death when he made no attempts to fight back and was trying to apologize for trusting Zhao instead of her. But all Nikki has to do is forgive herself for letting her rage consume her. That's it. Bo was literally groomed by Zhao since childhood to be her obedient soldier, but Nikki just needs to forgive herself. Like, holy shit, these writers cannot see past her being the main character, can they? Fucking wild, truly. And this isn't me trying to hate on Nikki. I like her most of the time. I'm just very upset with the decision of her attacking Bo like that. And this is a shitty way for the writers to try to reconcile it, I guess, is the way I want to phrase it. Um, they didn't resolve this well. But while Nikki is having this revelation, I guess, Althea and Dennis reach out to his parents about paying Nikki's bail, as they learn that it's $250,000 for Nikki to be released. And apparently the Soongs are happy to do this, no questions asked. So I'm supposed to believe that Dennis's father, a man who disowned Dennis for asking him to stop working with another man who sexually assaulted Althea, was cool with dropping $250,000 on Nikki's bail, not knowing anything about the situation. The man who thought Dennis was out of line by asking him not to work with a sexual predator. That man is cool with losing $250,000 on bail when he has no further information. And I'm getting a bit ahead of myself, but he's also cool spending another $500,000 on Althea going undercover with Delta, the man who is responsible for Dennis and Althea moving into the Shen's house because they are broke, is cool just giving away almost $1,000,000 to them. Like, I really think the writers just backed themselves into a corner with this plot, because I do not buy that Dennis's father changed his mind so drastically on things in the span of, like, maybe a year. Like, because the Soongs are the only characters on this show with money, really. And obviously, given what they've created with Delta, you need deep pockets. So it feels like the writers were just forcing puzzle pieces together that were not meant to fit. But whatever. I could harp on this all day. Let's move on. So, because the Soongs paid Nikki's bail, she is released but on house arrest. The group continues to look into Delta Securities, trying to find a way to expose the truth about them, especially now since they are hoping anything they find can be used to get Nikki's charges dropped. The research brings up that Delta Securities has a private weekend event for its shareholders, which leads to Althea deciding she will go undercover at the event, as I was just alluding to. Nikki understandably gets nervous about this idea as she can't be on site for backup due to the house arrest, but Althea manages to convince her to let her try, as this is pretty much the only real chance they have to bring down Delta. So Althea gets a cute disguise, and the rest of the group puts together a fake identity for her, including like ID, um, a website with information about her fake company, and she makes her way to the shareholder meeting. So, when doing research, the group realized that the man that Nikki had met in the previous episode is just the face of Delta, and his brother is the one actually behind the tech, meaning that Althea's job is to gain the trust of the brother so he will confide in her and give her the information they need to destroy the company. It's rough going at first for Althea to make contact with him, as it seems difficult to get him alone. And when she finally manages to do so, he seems very uninterested in chatting with an investor. But then Jalan comes to the rescue in an incredible scene, probably one of my favorite scenes of the entire show. Jalan pretends to be Althea's sister and makes a scene about how Thea the tech is just responsible for the tech portion of the company, but doesn't know anything about the business portion. This gets the attention of the brother, and he does start to open up to Althea after this display. Unfortunately, the fake sibling fight was a bit too effective, and the brother wants Althea to leave town with him, as he plans to sell Delta's algorithm and wants to work with Althea once he does so. Between this and Jalan's arrival, and her being found out as being Jalan, Althea's cover is blown, and she's in a rush to get out of there. She manages to get the hard drive, but before she can leave the property, she gets caught. Yet again, Jalan comes to the rescue, beating up a bunch of guards and allowing Althea to make her escape with Delta's information. So, first, I want to say Jalan fully stole the show this episode. She was incredible. The start of her becoming friends with Team Nikki is so lovely. Her schmoozing with the rich people at Delta was super fun, and I loved seeing that performative side of her. Her quickness to defend Althea and telling Althea to leave her and just run. Like, I think I got a little teary eyed at that. Because it's just like, you know that Jalan understands what it's like to be in Nikki's shoes of being worried about a sister because her relationship with Pei-Ling. Like, I just love it when two characters like just get each other because they have similar familial dynamics. Like that kind of bond just means so much to me. And like this episode was just a masterpiece for Althea and Jalan, so that makes me very happy. But second, on the not so positive side, holy shit, I can't believe this show got Patrick Fabian from Better Call Saul. Like, so much talent, and they wasted it because he was only in 2 episodes, and last week's episodes hit him up as like so formidable. Like, what a waste of time. Like, he literally had maybe 20 minutes between the 2 episodes, and like, that's all you used him for? Come on. But like, not only that, this plot was supposed to be commentary on over policing, and the writers ditched it after 2 episodes. Like, you did not say anything with this. Like, you created a fake algorithm for predictive policing, as if policing isn't literally built on stereotyping people, as if police don't literally lie and make fake charges to fulfill their quotas, as if police don't target people for being a threat to the status quo, like Delta went after Nikki. Like, what do the writers think they accomplished with this? Like, truly. And I get that pro cop propaganda is everywhere on TV, and most people in positions of power are also pro cop. So, like, I'm aware that it's difficult to be explicitly anti cop on anything, even moderately mainstream. But you gotta be more overt than this if you want the average viewer to get the message you're trying to tell them. But I digress. I digress. So, I skipped mentioning this earlier because I didn't really feel like there's a good place to weave it in, given the bulk of the plot had to do with Althea infiltrating Delta. But um, Jalan had been tracking Zhao, so before Nikki asked her to be backup for Althea at the Delta event, Jalan and Henry had been compiling resources trying to figure out what Zhao was up to. As a result of this research, Henry realizes Zhao has been going to places that are rich with Jusha, and we then see Zhao at one of these locations getting her hands on a weapon that is making her yet more powerful. So clearly, these last 3 episodes of the season are back to focusing on Zhao. A criticism I've had before and will probably have again with the finale is that the show is bad at letting Nikki have meaningful wins, which makes it hard to believe when she wins the final battle. Which, granted, she has Jalan and Henry fighting with her, and also potentially Bo seeing the way things shake out these next 3 episodes. But, like, God, I just want Nikki to have a win that doesn't get undone, like, the next episode. Like, obviously the group will manage to stop Zhao. If Bo participates in the final showdown, I really, really hope that he does not die. Because it is so ugly when shows decide to, quote unquote, redeem literal brainwashing victims by having them basically sacrifice themselves for the lead. Like, I don't I don't want to see that in another show. I've seen it happen too many times. I'm tired. I also really hope that Paling survives, and I'm like currently 60-40 about it, with the 60 being I think she will survive. Um, because it really just feels so unnecessarily cruel for her to die again. But given how powerful they've made Zhao at this point, I'm just struggling to see how it's possible that she would survive, which is why I'm not higher than 60-40. But yeah, if anyone has any thoughts on the episode, feel free to leave a comment because I'd love to chat more about it or the show in general. And I'll catch you guys next week for episode 11. Bye.